So, we all know that the Warriors team has been extremely injured this year. Curry has played around 6 games so far, but has luckily came back recently. Clay has been out all season so far. Draymond has missed some games, and when they had D'Lo, he also missed some games as well. Because of this, we see that the once champions have the worst record in the league. However, I don't see this season as a failure. In fact, this could have been the best thing that could happen to the Golden State Warriors. Because the Warriors have the worst record in the league, they of course have one of the best odds to get the number 1 pick this year. However, something may get in the way of this, and that is Steph Curry. Curry will probably not play the rest of the remaining 18 or so games that the Warriors have. However, he will still be playing in a lot of them, and I think this may be bad. They are still about 4 games worse than the 4th worst team in the league, but with Curry back, this will likely mean that they are less likely to get the number 1 pick. Of course, recently the NBA has changed the lottery odds, so that the worst 3 teams will have the same odds to get the number 1 pick. So the Warriors will have to at least be 1 out of the 3 worst teams in the league. And basically with Curry back, this is seeming more and more unlikely. However, if they get the number 1 pick, or fuck it, even if they get a top 5 pick, I think that they should 100% draft James Wiseman, as I see him the best player for the Warriors. There can be a case made that if they miss out on Wiseman, they could draft Onyeka Okongwu, who has shot up in the mock drafts. I do think that there is a possibility that if the Warriors miss out on Wiseman, they draft Onyeka, and he has a good career with the Warriors. But I still think that they should get Wiseman, and if this cannot happen whatsoever, I think there is a big possibility that they should consider trading their pick, whatever it will be, to get some older, more established assets. There is also a possibility that they trade Andrew Wiggins, which I'll talk about now. So to tag on at the end of the draft segment, they've also got 2 second-round draft picks. So there's that. Maybe they can get another great player like Eric Pascal. Who knows? In the off-season, we saw that the Warriors surprisingly made a trade for D'Angelo Russell, sending away the seemingly disgruntled Kevin Durant. During his tenure for the Warriors, D'Angelo Russell was solid for them. In fact, he played quite well, although he didn't get any minutes next to Clay, and only played a little amount of time with Curry. Many people, including myself, were a bit disappointed that they didn't keep D'Lo for the rest of the season, to see how he would play next to Curry for the remainder of the games they have left. But what's done is done, as they traded him at the trade deadline, surprisingly for Andrew Wiggins, who was having a bounce-back season for Minnesota. So basically, to this point, the Warriors traded Kevin Durant for Andrew Wiggins. Now, Wiggins has also played good in Golden State so far, but can he fill in the absence of Kevin Durant? To fully get the answer, we'll have to see how he plays with the Warriors for the rest of the season. But for now, Wiggins has always been a good isolation player, and he's an okay ball handler. He has played decent defense so far in the Warriors system, but I doubt he'll ever be as good as KD, especially in Kevin Durant's last season in Golden State. Wiggins has also never been a great three-point shooter, which is crucial playing with the Warriors. Now, there have been many rumours about the Warriors flipping him in the offseason for a real big piece. They could also package him and the first round pick that they have. Now, looking at this, there aren't many disgruntled stars that have the possibility of being traded. The first one that comes to mind is Bradley Beal. I could see the Wizards doing this trade as they get back a younger player to replace Beal and they get the first round pick. But I could also see the Wizards declining it. However, that first round pick will tempt the Wizards a lot. Another trade that could reunite the boys will be getting Harrison Barnes. Now, Harrison Barnes is pretty similar to Wiggins, and he is familiar with the players and the system, but maybe not the greatest trade for the Warriors. But still would be a little nice reuniting the boys again. Do you remember the 2015 Warriors and their slogan, Strength in Numbers? There was of course a reference to their great bench, and how important a role they played for the Warriors and their championship run. They had players like Iggy, Leandro Barbosa, Mo Speights, and Sean Livingston. Last year their bench wasn't the greatest. Now this is in no way the biggest reason they lost to the Raptors. Injuries really plagued them in the playoffs last year. Now where am I going with this, you may wonder. I'll now proceed and try to explain. As I previously said, I don't consider this season a failure whatsoever. In fact, this could be great for them. With all the injuries they've had, this gave their young players a chance to prove themselves as valuable. Now their numbers are a bit inflated because of the minutes they got. However, many of them will be key players off the bench. and they are also on cheap rookie contracts for the next couple of years, which is great for the Warriors. Eric Pascal proved himself as probably the biggest steal of the second round so far. He has a bit of a weird shot, but it still goes down, and he has a solid mid-range game. I expect him to basically be the first man off the bench going forward next season, if they keep him, of course. They also have 3 solid guards, Damian Lee, Jordan Poole, and even Kai Bowman. Damian Lee and Jordan Poole especially, they've showed themselves as really solid, and I expect them to be good off the bench. A couple of surprises so far this season. Juan Toscano Anderson, who has showed himself as a really good wing defender, who can also hit the 3 as well. Recently, I've also noticed another player named Michael Mulder, who has been shooting lights out for them so far. He cooked the Nuggets in that one game. Again, he is a really good shooter, and I expect him to get a lot of looks when playing with Curry and Clay. So in the next couple of years, I expect the Warriors to return to their 2015 days and really have strength in numbers with a couple of very young and cheap bench players, as long as they continue their form and they aren't traded, of course. Now, it's probably way too early to be thinking about next year's championship, since we don't even know who's going to win this year, but I think the Warriors have a solid chance. They will first need to regain chemistry after returning from injury. Now, I can see a world where the Warriors get off to a slow start at the beginning of the season, and maybe their shots don't fall like they used to, sort of like Curry at the beginning of the season. They will also need to adjust to the new NBA landscape, especially the new look Lakers and Clippers, who the Warriors will face regularly, being in the same division. If they can do this, and their shots are falling, and they are still great defensively, and their young bench is good, then don't count out the Golden State Warriors, as I think next year they should be considered one of their favourites to win. They'll also be hungry for a championship, not winning one in the last 2 years, and they'll want to continue their dynasty. I also expect them to be perennial championship contenders for years to come, but this all really depends on the off-season this year. What will they do with their pick, and what will they do with Andrew Wiggins, as their 2021 championship aspirations may depend on it, as these potential moves may make them the 2021 NBA champions. Yeah, so Warriors possible 2021 NBA champs, as long as, they've got a good bench with their young players, their stars return to being what they used to, Curry and Clay. Draymond, not being shit like this year, playing with stars. Possible number 1 pick. What are they going to do with that? What are they going to do with Andrew Wiggins? We'll see. So, yeah. End of the video, I suppose. New sort of different videos on the way, I'm thinking. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds fucking good. I had all this shit to say in the outro, but I forgot what I was going to fucking say. It was something important, I think. I don't know. I think I'm just going to end it here. Yeah. Okay, we're done. Shout out to Eternal Take.